Everybody, it's Mike from Cornfield Customs, and welcome to our second live event. We're having a little technical difficulties with bending up some frame rails, so we got a little bit of a late start. So just want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, now's a good time to ask. We're going to try to get a few more people before we start showing some of the work from last week. That way we don't have to repeat ourselves too much. So if you got questions, go ahead and ask. If not, we're waiting on my phone to charge up a little bit so we can't wander too far. So last week, I was on the early Mack truck fender, and it took pretty much all week. I got the front half of the fender all shaped, planished out, trimmed, welded together. I'll show that in a few minutes. And then we got the two back half sections roughed in, and I'm taking a week off on it while I do some other stuff, and this week is going to be extremely busy. There's lots going on in the shop between work, and I've got classes this weekend, and we've got a local car club that's having a meeting here Wednesday night. So this week is just extremely packed. So yeah, ask questions, and we'll wait a couple minutes for other people to join. And can't hear me at all?
It sounds muffled, too.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, if the audio is kind of muffly, let's see if we can fix that real quick. My phone's a little low, but if it dies, that'll just make it exciting, right? So yeah, let's put the wireless mics on and see if that's a little bit better for you guys.
Hey, Mike, fender is looking awesome.
Thanks. We'll wait till we get the audio a little bit better. Sorry, let me put my hand in front of the camera. Yeah, technical difficulties. All right, can you guys hear me now?
Is the audio a little bit better? All right, let's try that. Audio working a little bit better for you guys? So we got Dom on there. Say hi, Dom. He's got a microphone.
Hello.
So we'll walk up and we can check out the fender. So this is a really big fender. I don't know if you get the scale of it in the video, but it pretty much took, I'd say 95% of a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet of 18 gauge cold rolled steel to get all 4 pieces cut out.
This is a huge fender. It's a big, I would say, instead of it being a fender, it's essentially 4 fingers rolled together and making. We're really happy with the way it's coming out. We made the front section, trimmed it, welded it. The hair the well out, still a couple ladies spots in it, but I think it's super carried away. It's all come back and roll it up forward. If you guys want some really good free entertainment, head over to my Facebook page, look at the comment section. There's a lot of hate mail on this fender.
Bluetooth.
It's still all screwy?
Okay. What about now? Are we good?
Yeah.
I think connected to your headphones.
Still connected to the headphones?
No, I disconnected them, but I think that's what happened.
All right.
Sorry.
Audio better?
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. We just want to make sure you guys get the best audio you can. Okay. So I'll kind of repeat what we were talking about, and hopefully it's not too obnoxious for you guys. But these fenders are really big. It was essentially 4 fenders that get put together to equal 1 big fender for this Mack truck. So I shaped the 2 front quarters, got it all shaped, planished out, trimmed and welded, and it's all hammered out. I haven't ground anything on the weld yet. And there's still a couple little low spots, but I'm going to wait till I get all the Cleco holes welded up before I finish planish all of this out. That way I'm not causing more issues for myself. And if you guys want a bunch of free entertainment, head over to my Facebook page. There's a lot of hateful comments about this fender and just random people crapping all over the work. So it's pretty entertaining to watch.
Well, you don't know what you're doing. You know, you don't have any experience building fenders or anything. So they're right. You should listen to them.
Oh, exactly. So yeah, like I said, if you want some good entertainment, head over there and just read the comments. I think one of the ones on this has like 500,000 views and like 200 something comments. So yeah, the front is mostly done. The sides are still long because I have to come back and trim it for the wire edge. And these are the two back sections. This one's pretty much roughed in. I got a little bit more planishing here to do in a corner where I shrank it down to get the light line to follow better. And just needs a bunch more planishing. But you can see the surface difference between a roughed in finish and a planished finished surface. So I really like to take it that extra little bit and get the finish on the panel a lot better. And here's the other rear section that goes there, and it needs some more fine-tuning work, especially up here in the corner. But all four pieces are coming together, and yeah, really excited with the way this thing is turning out. So if anybody has any questions about the fender process while we do the video, we might come back and talk about it as more people join the live event. So yeah, if you've got questions, feel free to ask, and Dom will relay those to me.
We got one. Will you do a little documentary on your life?
I could do a documentary on my life. Maybe we'll do a video of it. It's not going to be very exciting, so we'll have to see if Dom can film it and edit it in a way that's not long, drawn out, and boring. I'm not a very exciting person, but it's a good idea, and we could look into that in the future.
Maybe we get Morgan Freeman to narrate it.
Oh, that'll really put people to sleep then, if it's him talking about my boring life. So, well, we can get AI to do that, right? They have a Morgan Freeman AI.
I'm sure I can find one.
Yeah. So, like I said at the beginning of this, I don't know if you could hear it or not because we were having microphone issues. This week is extremely busy. I'm taking some time off on these fenders. And for people that don't know how I run the shop, usually what I do is I work in a rotation. So we'll just say I worked on this for a week, and then I'll work on the convertible for a week, and then I'll work on the LaSalle for a week, and I'll work on the Mustang for a week, and I'll just go in a rotation. That way it's not weekly invoices that the clients are getting hit with. It gives them a little bit of a break to breathe, and it keeps me from getting burned out. So I worked on this last week, and this week is the 51 convertible. So I have to continue on with our taillight shaping, and the next step is going to be to paper pattern the underside of the taillight area and continue shaping these pieces. I'm going to try to get the other pieces done this week, but we'll have to see, because this week is, like I said, extremely busy. I got inundated with frame rail orders last week, so I've got 20 66 to 77 Bronco rails I have to do this week, and then 2 other custom sets of frame rails. I bent up some U-bends for a guy today that I have to ship out. And then I have a 3031 Model A coupe roof insert I have to make. And what else is on the board? And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I have a metal shaping class here. And Wednesday evening, I have the Tri-State Mustang Club is coming to do their monthly meeting here in the shop. So it's a little bit of a busy week. So I'm going to get as much done on everything as I can. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. It was exciting, too, that I got the vibratory tumbler in today, if you guys saw that. We got some parts in there.
We have one question.
Yep.
How do you create the initial buck? If I remember seeing the original fender, there wasn't quite a lot of structure there.
Yeah, so we're going to do a video on the buck and like how you make the buck based off of the fender. Essentially, all you do is you decide how far you want to put your individual stations apart, and then you make contour cardboard patterns of the internal shape of the fender, and you array them out from the center. That's kind of the quick and dirty of it. It's a lot more time consuming than that. But yeah, you just have to take your time and really ensure that you're getting the radius right. And like on the fenders that I'm using, they're beat up and rough, so I'm taking an average. You know, it's not going to be a 36 radius here and jump to a 5. You know, we're going to take measurements all the way across and kind of see where it is. So I threw in some of our slappers to get everything deburred, and the finish is actually really nice on it.
This turned out really well.
Yeah, so we got the mini ones in there. It deburrs it from the laser shop. So just curious how these were turning out, and I think it'll speed up production and make things a lot nicer. So really happy to have this in the shop. I've been wanting one one of these style Burr Kings for a while. So it's exciting, and hopefully it makes all the products nicer.
So what are these made out of?
I'd have to look. I think it's a ceramic.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it's a type of ceramic. It's meant for deburring and light polishing. It's not going to polish to a mirror. So we'll just see how it goes. We could get a different media if we want to shine it up better, but I also still want it to be able to cut and deburr a little bit. So we'll see how this goes, and I might buy some other medias to try out on some of our other parts. So yeah, I can show you guys some of the frame rail stuff. Like I said, we got a little bit of a late start, not just because of our technical issues, but I was bending up a set of frame rails, and I only got one of the rails done. But that got us a little late start on the live stream. So here's the rail I just bent right before we started, and this is 2x4 1/8/8 wall. It's a custom order. The client, he sent over the design. I'll rotate it around.
This thing's huge.
Yeah, it's a big rail. So fresh out of the bender, I gotta clean it up, bend its mirrored mate, and then these will be ready. And like I said, I've got 10 other sets of Bronco rails to do, and then 1 other set of custom rails this week.
Have you ever made rails for a mini truck from the 90s?
I'm sure I have. I know I've done some S10 rails. I don't ask a lot of questions when I bend stuff. Usually somebody just sends me a sketch with dimensions, and that's the extent of it. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure I have. I know I've dealt with like mini truck style shops or guys that do a lot of air ride on full-size trucks. So I don't exactly know what they always go to. Again, I don't ask questions. I just bend the metal. So if you're interested in having me bend some for your project, drop me a comment or shoot me an email, and we can work on those designs together and get you what you need and get you a custom set of rails bent for your project. So yeah, these are big and heavy.
I actually checked out his channel, and he has a pretty cool hard-by Nissan pickup truck.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so I mean, if you need rails for that or something else, let me know. I mean, I'm wanting to branch this out into different stuff. It's not always hot rods. I mean, to me, frame rails are frame rails, so if it helps your project out, takes it to the next level. I know back when I used to miter cut frame rails, you know, this would be a day project to get everything cut and mitered and welded back together. And I try to be really affordable with the frame rails. You know, not trying to get rich off of each individual person, just, you know, make a little bit of money to pay for the machine, pay the bills, and help you guys take your projects to the next level.
What's the sharpest bend they've done?
So this machine, it depends on the wall thickness. I try to stop right at 100 degrees. So it's a 100-degree max bend angle, and the inside radius, so rectangle tube is measured on the inside radius. It will always be 7-inch, whether it's 2x4, 2x3, easy or hard way. So yeah, 7-inch is pretty aggressive in rectangle tubing. So that's the tightest radius, and the max bend angle, like I said, is 100 degrees. On 1/8/8 wall, which is what this is, I try not to go over 90. It's rough on the machine. So those are kind of the maxes on it. And if you want, we can go in the back. I got a little bit of work done on the Hanchard Special over the weekend. So I ordered a bunch of parts today, and then the 2.0 Ecotech is set in place, and I got motor mounts mocked up on here. I got to drill the hole to bolt it. I bent up the cross member for the transmission and rear suspension. I can show you that up front in a minute. At 2x3, I went ahead and knocked that out and started on the firewall. So I'm hoping this week I can get the firewall mounted, the pedal box put in, the steering connected, get a column put in it all the way up to the front, and just continue on. I'm hoping to get this car done and ready to go racing at El Mirage in March for the season opener. So there's still a lot to do, but the good thing is I've got a pretty big head start on it. I just got to finish up the rear suspension, drive shaft. The floor is made, it's just not put in, just solid aluminum, and just button everything up, get it welded.
How much horsepower were you wanting to get out of this?
I want to get as much as possible within a budget. These, I was talking to a guy who was part of the GM project, I think in like 2005. They ran a Lakester, they ran an HHR, and they ran a Cobalt. I think the HHR was like 1,400 horsepower, and that was out of a 2.0. That's big money. I'm hoping for like 650 to 850, and from the people I'm talking to, it should be doable. We just got to get the injection setup right, the computer right, and a big enough turbo, and yeah. So I'm not much of an engine guy, so I'm trying to figure all that stuff out now. But yeah, if we can get 650 to 850, I think we'll be kind of knocking on the records door, which would be pretty cool.
I recently got a 1.8 liter motor for my Miata, and I was probably looking at doing a turbo kit too.
Yeah.
So if we figure this out, maybe I can take some of the knowledge from this,
yeah,
and put it on my car.
Yeah, I just don't know enough about it. And you talk to race car guys, and you want to put the biggest, nastiest turbo on it you can get, which I get to a point, but we're not trying to put 100 pounds through it. You know, this motor stock is going to take about 30 pounds max. So we just have to make sure that we get enough boost where we need it, when we need it. And I'm just waiting on some of the turbo guys that have ran these smaller liter engines at Bonneville or El Mirage to give me a little bit of feedback on what they recommend. So yeah, made a little bit of progress on it. And yeah, you guys got questions or anything? And you know, you guys asking questions is really going to help the live stream, because then I don't know what to talk about always. So if you got good questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those.
Have you finished the trailer that broke the world?
Nope. It's still sitting there, yeah, as you can see. Yeah, some other stuff came up that I feel is a higher priority. I could probably have this thing wrapped up in a couple weekends. All it needs is welded up and plumbed and wired. It's just, we got a little close to Bonneville, and I'm like, you know what, it's not going to make it. Let's just get the car ready, and then now I'm building another race car. So it's close, but just not done yet. Like, story of my life. So I'm going to do my best to not start too many projects and start getting things done, especially on my own personal projects. So I want to get the white car done, and then I want to get the Indy Roadster done next, and kind of go from there. And yeah, I'm still debating if I want to pull the engine out of the red car this year to get it freshened up, or if I just want to take the year off next year with the red car and focus on the white car. Campaigning 2 land speed cars in a season is a lot, especially for a small guy like myself. Be pretty expensive, especially with traveling out to Bonneville and El Mirage. So yeah, we'll see what we can do.
The hinge mechanism. So why do you need to do this? I kind of get you need it to be low, but it seems like you just put an airbag instead of doing all that.
Well, I need the frame to lay completely flat on the ground, so you need some kind of articulation to get it up. And it got a little more complicated than I wanted. So when I get negative feedback on the internet, usually what that does is that motivates me to push them to be even more aggravated. So I figured I was designing an airbag trailer, and people were so upset over the idea. Mainly they were upset over the front. I remember there were comments, and that's how it got the name that it broke the internet. I had a picture of just the tubing laying on the floor. Nothing was trimmed, welded. It was just a pile of tubing with some of the bends on it. And they were saying that the way I was building it was going to break and kill a school bus full of children and nuns. And it was just a big to-do. So I'm like, I'll aggravate them even more and make things a little bit bigger and more complicated, just to stir the pot and get people on the internet worked up.
Are you going to convert the ambulance to 4-wheel drive?
No, I'm not going to do any off-road stuff. So I don't go up into the mountains and go off-road. The ambulance, we still need to do a video on that, by the way, because it's done for the most part. Mainly it's so I can take my wife and the dogs with us when we go racing. She doesn't like staying in the 40-foot gooseneck trailer. It's not roomy enough, and she just doesn't like the setup on it. So I'm hoping with the ambulance that we can get her to go with me. And yeah, so that's kind of the goal. like I said, it's going to be from Cincinnati to El Mirage or Cincinnati to Bonneville or stuff like that. We're not going to go off the grid up into the mountains and camp for, you know, a week or anything like that. So I don't really feel that four-wheel drive is necessary for that application. Yep, and yeah, like I said, if you got questions, ask them.
What is your mile per hour goal with the Hansard?
I want to go 200 with it. So the record, I think, is, I'd have to look in the book, but I think it's 176.8. If I could go 200 in that car, that would be amazing. I'd at least like to go 180 to get the record, or 177. But I think with a turbo motor, it might be able to do 200. So maybe not.
Record like the fastest that cars went, or?
The standing record for that engine and body class.
Okay.
So it would be a G, I think it's G blown street roadster. So it has to have headlights, rear fenders, brake lights, a horn. Pretty much it has to be like a street car with a roll cage and stuff in it. Yeah, it just has to meet their class specifications to be declared a street roadster, and I want to set the record in the book with the car. So I think that car's only been like 126, but that was with the Model A flathead in it. So hopefully we can bump those numbers up quite a bit. Yeah. And here's the, I mentioned the transmission cross member. So there's the drop transmission cross member, and it'll have pickup points for the rear ladder bars, and just a real simple cross member out of 2x3. Keep it nice and compact. I knocked that out this morning when I was bending these, I hate to say U-bends because it's not really a full U, but it's at our 100-degree max bend. So they're just bends that I had to do for a client. I'm going to ship those out tomorrow. So while the machine was set up to do that, I knocked the transmission cross member out. And yeah, that's kind of what we got going on. Like I said, ask me questions. I find it way more engaging when I can interact with you guys, and you're not just sitting there watching me ramble on about nothing. So feel free to ask. And I mentioned that I have to do a roof insert this week. So here is the 3031 Model A Coupe roof insert. It's all cut out, labeled, ready to start shaping the low crown on the power hammer. And then I've got our standard jig that I just lay on there. It gives us our total overall size and our grid pattern layout. So I've got those ready to go. As soon as I knock out some of those frame rails in the morning, I'll be on that. So I'm hoping to get half of the Bronco rails bent and that roof insert done tomorrow. And yeah, tomorrow's Tuesday, right? Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully then Thursday, Friday, I can hit the convertible really good.
The dash in the convertible, it looks so nice.
Yeah, it's just a stock 51 Ford dash. I really like the old plain simple dashes, nothing fancy or elaborate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just works.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've got 5 people coming in this weekend for metal shaping class, so that'll be really exciting. I've got this weekend's class with 5 people, and then we have another one coming up in December, which I think you're going to take, right, Dom?
Should.
Yeah, so we've got 2 more classes this year, and then I'll start working on next year's schedule for classes. And I do like doing the classes a lot. I like kind of giving back the information that a lot of people seem to want to gatekeep and not give everything up. So hopefully if you're not able to take a class, hopefully you're getting the information you want from some of the videos. And I do want to mention, we do have a secondary channel that we started for you guys that like the adventure and the not really in the shop stuff, so traveling, going racing, elsewhere, that kind of stuff. We do have that, and it's Cornfield Customs Off the Clock. If you want to check that out. If not, that's cool too, but I figured it would be easier to streamline with a second channel for you guys that enjoy that. And we did set up a join button. You guys can join to help support the YouTube channel. I had a couple people ask me after last week's live event if we had that, and we didn't at the time. So Dom went ahead and got that all set up for you guys. If you want to join that, it's greatly appreciated. If not, that's fine too. I'm just glad you guys are here and supporting the channel any way you can.
How long is your usual workday?
I usually get here about 7 o'clock, and I'm here till at least 6. So I try to put in 11 hours a day, and that's Monday through Friday, and then I'm here from 7 o'clock to usually 2 or 3 on Saturday and Sunday.
I thought I heard you saying once that you were getting a lot of grief for the car. What were people complaining about?
Which car? So I get a lot of grief about a lot of things.
Yeah, I look at the comments, and people get mad about anything nowadays.
Oh yeah, the red car I get comments about, the GT I get comments about. I posted just a reel of the GT sitting there idling yesterday, and a bunch of people complained about the air cleaner, and then one guy's like, oh, it's a super cute car, but when you wreck, you're gonna die because it has no protection, and another guy complained that it was polluting the environment. And I mean, I tell people all the time I could teach you how to shit gold bars, and there'll be people that complain that I haven't told you how to do it enough, or they're not big enough, or there'll be some complaint. I've just learned that people are going to complain about anything you do. Nothing is ever good enough for everybody. So, yeah, I just let them complain.
Someone's asking about the boat.
So it's a 1963, I can't remember if it's a Waterbird ski cart or a water cart ski bird. I get them mixed up. So you could get it in the back of a popular mechanics book. My buddy's dad had that sitting in his basement, and I bought it just to hang up. I've been in this building 8 years. Yeah, 8 years, and I think I had it for 3 years before I moved into this building. So I've had it a while. I've never done anything with it other than just hang it up and look at it. So Waterbird ski cart or water cart ski bird, one or the two, but it's like a 63. Just a neat piece. And I've got lots of junk to look at all over the place.
That'd be fun to get back out on the water, but...
Yeah, I have enough projects.
Yeah, you have enough projects.
Yeah, don't give me any more projects that I don't need to mess with. Yeah. And there's the stack of Bronco rails, all bundled together and cut to length. So I'll unband those tomorrow and get them all cleaned up, labeled, and start getting those bent up. And these will be extended length Bronco rails, so they're 8 or 16 inches longer. I can't remember. I have to look at the blueprint. I think they're 16 inches longer, but yeah, so I got to do those first thing in the morning. And yeah, just a busy week doing frame rails.
How big is your shop, square feet, and do you work alone or have employees?
The shop is 7,500 square feet. That is the office, the main work area, and then the area in the back. So yeah, that's my square footage. The employee thing's kind of weird. Like, I used to have a bunch of employees, and then I went for a long time with no employees. So right now I have Dom, who is holding the camera, and you can hear talking in the background. I don't know, because you're in high school, so I mean it's...
I'm not really an employee. I'm more of an apprentice.
Yeah, like an apprentice, job shadow, helping out around the shop. So it's kind of weird. I don't know if I would call him a full-time employee because he's here a few hours a day, but he is working in the shop, helping out, and I'm teaching him stuff. And then I do have friends that stop by from time to time that want to give me a hand, or if I get overwhelmed with something that's outside of my wheelhouse, they'll come by and give me a hand. But again, I wouldn't call those employees. They're just friends that help me out, and we kind of trade labor. They help me, I help them on projects. So yeah, it's not, I don't have a big fleet of guys that come in and do a bunch of work. It's usually me, and then Dom comes in after lunch and gets to connect with you guys doing videos. And yeah, I've had you help me do some frame rails, and you're doing some SolidWorks designs or some, what's the other one?
Just CAD stuff.
Yeah, CAD stuff.
Fusion.
Yeah, Fusion, and he's going to help me 3D print some parts for some of the race cars.
What shop is doing the Bronco builds?
I have no idea.
Where do you get the rails from?
The rails or the material?
Probably.
Yeah, the material, so all the hot roll, like 3/16 wall, I get locally from Industrial Tube. All the 120 wall, I get it from Race City Steel in North Carolina. So the difference is like the 188 wall I can source locally. It's hot roll. It's kind of gross. I don't really like messing with hot roll. But they don't make a 188 wall hot roll P&O or with a shaved seam. So like my local supplier can get this, if you want to show this, the weld seam is very shallow. And it's worked out really well until today. So this one, this rail took forever, mainly because there was the mandrel rides right here. So when I installed the tube, there was a burr on that weld seam right here. And it took me, I'd say 20 minutes to get it the last 2 inches into the machine to be able to bend it because of that burr. So that's the downside to doing the thicker wall hot roll. The 120 wall tube that I get from Race City Steel, it's 2x4 120 wall hot roll pickled and oiled, so it doesn't have mill scale on it. And then they call it a shave seam, so they drag a cutting mandrel down the inside of it, and it cuts that weld seam off. So it's meant for bending. And I usually get it 30 to 50 sticks at a time.
Broncos seem popular now. Do you see trends happening?
A little bit. It's kind of hit and miss. I've done, I guess I've worked with 6 or 7 different Bronco shops. I don't know the name of them, but they're different clients going to different states. And they'll call and they'll order 5 at a time, 10 at a time, and then it'll be a year later a different individual will hit me up. So I wouldn't say super trendy. I mean, I see a lot of them, but I wouldn't say I'm a person that's got my my finger on the pulse of the Bronco scene. Again, I don't ask a whole lot of questions. I just bend the material. It's kind of easier that way, especially if somebody sends me something proprietary. If I don't ask questions, I don't know, and then it's way easier for me to play ignorance because I don't know anything.
Guys, also, the phone's on 7%, so if we mysteriously vanish, we didn't charge anything on accident, and we're very busy all the time, so that's what's going on.
Yeah, I didn't realize that my phone was at like 10% until we were running late on the live stream anyway. Because last time I checked it, it was like at 80%. So,
can you show an example of where you used forming stakes or hand tools on a panel? You don't really do much.
Yeah,
hand stuff.
I don't do a lot of hand stuff. The problem is that it'll be like, it won't be a big piece that's shaped by hand. It'll be, we'll just say it's right here. It'll be this fade. And I'll do that on a T-dolly just to help blend that out. So it's not, this whole piece isn't done with like a basic hand tools. It'll be like I've got a weird spot that I need to fade and I'll use a T-dolly. So it's really kind of hard to just point something out and be like, this is what was done with hand tools or this is what wasn't. Everything I do is super power equipment heavy just due to the fact that it's fast and efficient and I can do larger panels. But there will be a time that it's like just a real quick interesting thing to do with hand tools only.
So the kid is working out.
Yeah, for now, we'll see.
I hope so. Hello, Dom. Hello, people. This is me.
People of Earth.
People of Earth.
Yeah. And if you guys haven't listened to the podcast, that was one of my favorite things I did on the podcast is when I had Piero and I introduced him and he just said, "Greetings, people of Earth." I thought that was one of the best intros ever. So yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Yep. Hilarious.
Yeah.
We don't have any more questions.
No more questions, just everybody.
We had a bunch.
Yeah?
Yeah, all right. Guys, ask some questions. Look, there's so much stuff around here.
Yeah, and if you guys like the live stream thing, how many people do we have watching?
We got 55. We had 67. But.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, if you guys are liking the live stream, make sure to drop a comment just so we know. Like, not even here in the live stream, but on any of the other videos, or once this goes into the normal rotation on the feed, drop a comment because we want to make sure that we're doing what you guys want. So if we don't hear any feedback that you like the live feed, we don't know that you're enjoying it. So make sure to let us know if you're enjoying these or not.
Yeah, when I'm looking through YouTube comments or anything, and I don't get any input on, like, oh, I changed something and we put some music in, and people say, great, video's cool, but they don't tell me, oh, I really like the music.
Or I hated the music, or we hate the live stream, we love the live stream.
Yeah.
So make sure to kind of, I want to cater everything to what you guys want to see. You know, I mean, if you want me to show you cool cat pictures I found on the internet, I'll do my best. But, you know, I think these live events will get so much more involved when you guys get good, you know, really good questions, and we can get in depth. I mean, I could be shaping the roof insert for you guys right now, but that would be really hard just due to the fact it's loud and we can't answer questions as we go. So.
People like the live, they're saying live is cool. All right, that's good.
Yeah.
He's almost done with the fender, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk back to the fender again since we got a lot more people.
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about it at the beginning of the live feed, and the front half is pretty much done other than the wire edge. Still some Cleco holes left to weld up, but that was one of the things I was getting a lot of flack for on the Facebook post, is the holes. They were saying that they were blow through in the weld seam, and they're Cleco holes. But what I like to do is I don't like to weld the Cleco holes up while I'm doing the main welding on the seam. That way it's easier to keep track of what's caused the distortion. So I'll weld the weld seam from one end to the other, continuous weld. Then I know that this is our only difference. You know, the panels fit really good. This weld seam is the only thing that changed. So if we have warping or distortion, this weld seam in the heat affected zone is the only thing we need to address to correct it. If I come through and I weld up all these Cleco holes, we're going to get a completely different heat cycle at the Cleco hole from where we had our main seam. So I like to do it in stages. So now that this is back to straight, then I'll come back and I'll weld up our Cleco holes, and it's easier to keep track of what's causing what distortion and where. So,
sorry,
oh, you're good.
But when I saw you doing the weld, and right here, right, is where you had to change because you ran out of
Yeah, so right here you can actually see it in the heat affected zone. I switched position and the heat affected zone dips in where I stopped, and then it comes back out where I started again. There's actually a low spot there. Everywhere else is nice and flat and even, but right where I start and stopped, there's a low spot that I still have to work back up. And that's what I always talk about. When you do a bunch of little stitches, you're going to get random short heat cycle events. And that's going to give you inconsistent heating, inconsistent cooling, which is going to give you inconsistent warping. And that's going to be a lot harder to chase out than if you get one long heat cycle, and you get even heating and even cooling, even contraction, and you get one long gradual warp. And it's just way easier to correct in my eyes. So you guys can give it a try. If not, if you like short stitches, that's cool too. But I've just found this is way faster for me. Because what did it take when we did this? I think welding was like 8 minutes, start to stop.
Yeah, it was not long at all.
Yeah, so once it's all tacked together, hammer and dollied out, just right across it. You know, less than 10 minutes, welded solid, let it cool down, hammer it out, and you're done.
All right, we're at quite a few comments.
Cool.
Did you fix the part that broke in the Linux?
Yes.
How do you choose between scrapping a panel or fixing an error?
That's kind of a tough situation. If it's a client panel, what I do is I weigh my options of, can I fix it? Yes or no. If I can fix it, then I have to look, is it going to be faster to start over, or is it going to take longer to correct? And I always take the most efficient way, especially on a client. So if I have to remake the panel, they don't get charged for the remake time. They just, I just pick back up when I get to the same point and move forward. Sometimes I'll clock out and I'll try to fix it just as a learning point, because if you learn how to get out of a predicament, it's going to make you a better shaper and a better craftsman. It's just one of those things you have to kind of weigh those options, especially if you're at the beginning stages. Go ahead and give it a shot, try to fix it, and it'll teach you a lot more by failing and not figuring out how to fix it than if you were to just guess right and you get it fixed on the first try. That struggle is going to be a really big teaching moment and showing you what not to do, which is usually the best form of learning.
All right, phone's on 4%, so we're going to have to speed up some of the questions. Mike, I thought you said you were SCTA inspector. Are there any good stories from being an inspector?
Yeah, I'm a SCTA tech inspector. I do Bonneville and El Mirage. There's not really any, I wouldn't say good stories. Most of the guys that come through the line, really good. We find little things like, fire bottles are out of date, seat belts are out of date, just little stuff. I mean, there's no big crazy drama.
Any cheating?
So I'm a safety inspector.
Okay.
I don't do like record certifications. That's Positive Pete's job, and I don't know if he's found any cheaters yet. So yeah, we'll answer a few more questions and we'll wrap this up since my phone's gonna die. And yeah, I mean, we've been, what, 30, 40 minutes?
40 minutes.
Yeah.
With radial stretching on the hammer, is upper die always the same?
On radial?
Yeah.
Yeah, so on radial stretch, you always is a very loose term, but you want to stick with a flat upper tool because as it comes down, the bottom is going to be where you change the radius. You can switch that around if need be. There are weird instances, but 90% of the time you're going to have a completely flat upper and the desired radius lower.
Someone asked about English wheel, but do you lay out hammer and English wheel on the same door skin?
I would use the same grid pattern. I don't wheel stuff anymore. I just don't like running the wheel. It's way faster and more efficient for me just to stick with the hammer. But the layout is the same principle.
People are asking about the trailer. The trailer, he has a lot of projects right now, so he hasn't been able to finish it. But
yeah,
it's
the trailer's low man on the totem pole, but it's still back there.
You pulse a long weld like that?
Nope. I don't do pulse. I feather it with my foot as need be. I just watch I watch the keyhole open up on the weld and fill it with filler rod. So, I mean, I'm gradually changing the amperage input to keep it from blowing through but still get penetration. But no, I don't put the pulser on the machine or anything like that.
Are roof inserts in stock or built as needed?
They're built as needed. Usually it's 2 or 3 day turnaround. I try to work those in where I can. I don't like to pre-make them and stock them. I could make 100 roof inserts and then never sell another one again. So I'd rather make them as need be. And then I might get the guy that says, hey, can you make it 3/4 of an inch bigger? And if I have 100 in stock that are stock dimension, I'll still have to make one. So it's just easier to make them as the orders come in. Let's do 2 more questions and then we're going to wrap this up.
Where did you get your metal shaping knowledge from?
My metal shaping knowledge, I'm all self-taught. I've never taken a metal shaping class. I've just never been afraid to reach out and ask somebody a question. And I have screwed up so many parts over the years and just made a mess. So yeah, pretty much self-taught, ruined a lot of panels, learned what not to do, and it's worked out for me so far.
Just someone from the UK. I'm jealous. You got Mark II Escorts. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Someone's asking about notices. You posted a notice on YouTube, right?
What do you mean I noticed? Yep. I posted a story today. Yeah, just saying that we were doing the live today at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard.
So we're gonna have one next week at Monday at 5. So that's a standard.
Yep.
So if you see this one, hopefully I have everything charged and ready so we can do a better job. But we're trying our best. It's only our second one. Yeah,
today was a bag of cats. It was just the whole day kind of fell apart and it just amplified to the end. So we were a little late and a little underprepared, but that's the joys of working in a shop.
All right, last question. What is the reason for an aluminum roof? Is it bolt-in? I'd like to weld and finish mine out.
The way I look at it is aluminum is race car stuff, and race cars need an aluminum roof. But if you want it smooth, that's on you too. I've put roofs in that are bolt-in, Zeus fastenered in, or I've even made an inner structure that you can hem the aluminum roof to, and then that inner structure bolts in, and it looks like a stock insert. Just kind of do what you like to do. I mean, if you don't like aluminum roof inserts, so be it. I think they're cool, and I put them on all my. I try to put them on all my customer cars. Sometimes they want to steal one, but yeah, I like aluminum. It's not a lot of people like to mess with it, so that's kind of what I do.
CST time, EST time. We're at Ohio, so
yeah, Eastern Standard Time. It'll be 5 p.m. Eastern every Monday.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Thank you for checking out our live. This is our second one that we've done. Remember, we have the next one next week, Monday at 5. Any questions you got, ask them there or in the comments. I'll try to answer them to my best abilities.
Yes, and I personally, I want to thank you guys for checking it out. And again, if you want to support the channel, we do have that live option available, or the join option available that I think you can do it through the live as well. But if you want to support the channel, check that out. If not, just watching, liking, commenting, and sharing helps so much. So thank you guys so much for tuning in on this. Hopefully we'll see you next week, and stick around for Thursday. We've got a long format video on paper patterning these fender panels, and I think it'll be pretty good. I show you how to lay everything out to make these. So thank you guys so much for checking this out, and we will see you guys next Monday. So get busy.